My name is Joshua, and I am the Tribune. On this channel, God has had me be very open and clear about the side of His character that many people don't want to talk about and they want to ignore, which is His righteous judgment. Quite specifically, He's been having me speak to you guys about how He's preparing to purge the earth and cleanse His church. Now, when I say that, I don't say it lightly because I'm really talking about billions of people dying. The reason why He's been having me be so clear on these topics is because He needs the upcoming generation to understand what He did for them and how much He loves everybody. He loves the upcoming generation so much that He will not allow them not to get to know Him and not have the opportunity to make a choice because they're being blocked by the older generations. Now, another side of it is He wants the people who actually survive this, who are in the older generations, to be able to understand what happened and to be able to teach other people. This is why He has been having me open about this topic. He wants to be understood. Now, there is another piece to this that must be discussed, and we will discuss it, which is His corporate signs and wonders. But before we do that, we have to establish a couple things. The first things we have to establish is that God is the only one in the universe who has the kind of power to order this kind of cleansing and purging. Nobody else has that kind of power. Satan does not have that kind of authority on the earth or anywhere else. So when you see this happen, do not blame Satan for this. That will make God very angry if you blame Satan because you are giving Him credit that is not due Him. Now, He did deceive so many people to get them in this position. But God ordering justice is only something that He can do in His righteousness. Because if it were up to Satan, he would not be saving the upcoming generations. He wouldn't be saving anybody. He wants everybody to just be on a fast track to hell with Him. So when you see God make these very crazy moves on the earth, which we rarely see, I can't even think of one time where I can think that could be compared to what He's about to do on the earth right now. The only two things I can think about are the Holocaust and Noah, the flood. And really, the Holocaust can't even compare to something like this because it wasn't global. Now, after we establish that Satan does not have this kind of power to order this kind of judgment on the earth, and we really understand that God is ordering this, then the next thing we must realize is that there are obviously people who are not going to experience the direct judgment of God. Now, someone might look at this and say, that's not fair. But we have to realize that God is not fair, He's just. And when we talk about God's justice, we must really be very clear that He knows exactly what He's doing. He is perfect. He does everything correctly. So, when some people don't experience this type and this level directly of God's judgment, then we must talk about these people because these people are very special to God and He wants to reveal Himself to them. Now, today we're going to be really focused on God's leaders because God's friends and God's leaders, He will come and tell them that He is going to execute this kind of judgment on the earth. He does not do these kind of things without explaining it to His people, especially His very close friends. We must talk about these people, and I'm speaking directly to the people who are God's friends, who He is coming to and explaining what He's going to do on the earth, or He's going to explain it to you, so that you understand how this happens and why He's so serious about explaining it to you over and over again. Now, when God operates in this kind of judgment, we have to realize that it is horrifying to everybody. It's not just the people who are actually dying and actually going through the judgment and the affliction. Actually, He's wiping them off of the face of the earth. It's not just them who go through the horror of it. It's also His friends who can potentially be completely ruined by seeing this kind of judgment. So what God does is He will come to you, His leaders, His best friends, the people who he has actually ordered not just to survive it, but to actually lead his people and actually come through this and proclaim his name on the other side of the judgment. He will actually come and explain what he's doing and give you signs and wonders on a corporate level, and it's not so just that you understand it, but everybody around you understands it too. And what he does is he comes individually to each person, because each person who God is friends with, they need to know that it's God. When we see this kind of carnage on the earth, it's extremely important to know it is God doing it. Because if we know God is doing it, then we will know not to be afraid, and we will have a weapon against the enemy when he comes against us and says, "This is me, and you're going to be taken out too. And your God is not even real. He's not even here. He is just totally out of control." No, God's not going to have that for his leaders. God is very serious about letting his friends know what he's doing. And if he does not do this, then even if we are not touched by what he does directly, our minds and our spirits will be ravaged because we do not understand exactly what God is doing, and we forget that it's God. We are going to need God's confirmations through his signs and wonders in our memory at all times during this coming season and in this coming era, because it will encourage us to do many things for Christ that he's asking and that he demands that we do for him. Now, how does this look then? What I want to go into the practicalities of it so that you can understand when you see this, you know what God's doing. When God is coming to establish with his friends and his leaders his agenda, he will give you signs and wonders and confirmations that you know absolutely he is going to do what he's telling you. There is no confusion about it because he's very clear. He doesn't make you guess and I wonder if this is God. I wonder if he's going to do this. No, he comes and makes himself openly clear to you, and he's honest with what he's going to do in the details. He even outlines the bloodshed and what's going to happen. Now, from there, you think he does it one time. No, he does this many times leading up to this kind of judgment on the earth and this kind of season we're all about to go through. He actually comes to his leaders and his friends over and over again and confirms it to them in so many different ways so that they never forget he is still right here with me. He is still right there with you. And he is still operating in this agenda, even if it seems quiet, even if you don't know when it's going to start and when you're actually going to see these things start coming to pass. He will actually keep confirming his agenda to you. Now, the thing, though, is that he actually confirms this openly. So it won't be just you that sees these confirmations. It will be other people so that you have a witness, because you're going to need a witness and many witnesses to know that what he's telling you and telling them is true, because you're not just the only one he's going to tell it to. He's going to tell it to certain people maybe that you're connected with. And they need a witness too. So you become their witness so that in the very difficult and horrible times that look very horrifying and scary, you will be able to look and say, you know that you got those confirmations, and I know too. And you know too. We were all here to see this. He came to us individually and collectively, which means that we know it's our God and we can actually be at peace. Now, when I say be at peace, what I'm trying to communicate here is not just surviving this thing. When you see people dying all around you, and you're one of God's friends and one of God's leaders, and he told you this is going to happen, he told you this is his hand and his judgment and his protection of the upcoming generations, then that means that you are not just supposed to survive this. That means that he actually has assignments for you through the horrifying ordeal. This is why he actually wants you to have this level of peace and understanding and rest in the fact that you know your God is the one who is executing judgment and it is righteous. So that while this is happening and he's giving you assignments, you can actually have a clear head and an open spirit to hear God and move forward in his instructions so you can touch other people's lives, not only the people who are going to survive it too, but even the people who are perishing. He has assignments for his leaders throughout his judgment times that need to be fulfilled. And he needs to make sure that we are right on the same page with him before it starts. This is why he gives so many confirmations and so many signs and so many wonders individually to you and collectively even to people you're around about the same thing. Now, what does this actually look like, though? How do you know that God is doing this in your life? He's giving you signs and wonders for a coming time of judgment that he needs your head to be clear. How he does it is he after he's giving you all these confirmations and signs and wonders, the clue is that you don't know what to do with this. Because when he gives you a sign and a wonder and a confirmation that is so powerful, right? And it's over and over again, and he keeps confirming the same thing in an impossible way, you begin to actually start thinking, God, I really do already believe that you're going to do this. Why do you keep telling me over and over again in different ways? You're not doing it because you want me to have faith and believe that you're going to do it. I already believe you. Do you want me to do something right now? Maybe. Maybe he wants you to do something right now. But in this case, I'm talking about when he doesn't want you to do anything right now. There's nothing to necessarily do with these confirmations and these signs and these wonders that he's giving you. But what he wants is for you to internalize them. He wants you to actually marinate on how serious he is on the topic so that you can be firm and have a firm foundation and a strong base for the coming time. So one of the clues is if you don't know what to do with the confirmations. He's so clear on confirming and giving you the signs and the wonders, but he's not being clear on your action steps. Maybe he's not telling you that you need to do action steps. Maybe what he's doing is he's saying, prepare for my action steps, which will shake the entire world. And you need to get ready and know that I'm about to shake everything up. Many people don't talk about when God is about to judge something, and especially purge the earth or anything like that. They don't talk about the people who are leading through those times. How horrifying that could be for them. It could scar you for life. It could debilitate you completely. And this is what he doesn't want. So then, if we understand that God does these corporate signs and wonders, and when I say corporate, I'm not just talking about on an open level where the whole world's seeing it. I'm talking about corporately where it's open, it's personal to you, but it's also open to the people around you maybe, or certain associates that he brings to you and connects you in these times. That's also corporate, because remember, he is choosing his leaders. So even if you're somebody who's not even known right now, and he's connecting you and telling you his secrets, and telling you are going to be a leader through my judgment time on the earth and after, that means that he's already speaking corporately, even though it's in secret. Because the people who are corporate now won't be there later. They won't live through it. They won't still be on their platform. That means that you are the new corporate level. This is what we need to understand. This is why I call them corporate signs and wonders. So what do we do with this then? When we see God giving us signs and wonders that we really don't know what to do with, and he's confirming something over and over again, and something that is actually looks dreadful to humans. And God doesn't love doing it, But he just has to do it because he's so righteous and he is the awesome judge of the universe. What do we do with this? We marinate. We need to make sure we sit with it. We need to remember meticulously how he brought these signs and wonders. How did he confirm these things to you? How did he bring these signs? We need to internalize them to our core, because what he's doing is he knows we're going to need these signs and wonders in our memory and in our spiritual bank. You don't want to get into God's purging season and God's judgment time and then try to marinate on what God did. It's too much. We will not be able to do it. And he knows that. This is why he gives the signs and wonders way before. Now, as you get closer to seasons like this, the signs and wonders intensify and they become more and more closer together and sometimes even more ridiculous. And remember, this is God doing these signs and wonders. It's not you making them. It's not you making something up. It's something that he is also giving witnesses to, and he is doing it through so many different things that nobody can take credit. This is another way you know that God is giving signs and wonders on a corporate level. Nobody can take credit for it, and everybody can see it. It's not just you. But it is personal to you. Only God can do this. He will do this with all ages. He will do it with children. He will do it with young adults. He will do it with the older people. It doesn't matter. He will unite all of them into one body under him and in him, and he will give everybody signs that everybody can understand equally. He will have a 50-year-old in the room and a 10-year-old. They will both understand his signs equally and take it personal in their own way. This is something so beautiful about God. And we must understand what to do with this. And all we can do is marinate on them. If God wants us to do an action, he will tell us. If God wants us just to sit with him, he will not say anything, and he'll just let us marinate and sit in his signs and wonders that everybody has seen. So I want to encourage his friends and his leaders before you see this kind of bloodshed and this kind of earth-shaking judgment. Pay close attention to what he is speaking to you about right now. Pay close attention to all the signs and wonders that he's bringing in your life. Focus. And sit with them. Marinate with God. Study them. Because they're also prototypes. He loves giving prototypes to his friends so that they will see what's coming. This could be anything too. Don't put God in a box and say, oh, when I'm talking about signs and wonders, I'm only thinking about this specific way and this specific thing, like God did it before. No, don't do that. Take God out of the box. Look for him with an open heart, and he will actually confirm these things to you. This is another reason why I'm so bold on this channel. I really do know that God will come confirm what I'm saying to you. Because I don't come up and step up to the camera and just say anything. I get massive confirmation on these things. I will die for my words. This is because he has come before I tell you guys. If he does that, I know that the people who are really have a heart to hear God and are seeking for him and see this video, he will come confirm to them in the same way he confirms to me. Because he's no respecter of person. He doesn't give me confirmation. He's not going to give you confirmations. I tell this to children that I know. I tell them, do not look at me and think, oh, I'm Joshua and I'm this and that. But he's not going to come to you the same way. I tell all the children that I know, you need to make sure that you look for God just like I look for God. He will come to you the same way he comes to me. So if I'm telling that to children, then anybody who's watching in the camera right now who has this in their heart, you need to know that he will come to you the same way. And this is why I'm so bold. I cannot help being bold. Because he does what he does, and he is always correct. He's always right. And there's nothing anybody can do about it. Nobody can stop him. He's already made up his mind. So we might as well get on board with what he's doing. And we might as well get in alignment. So understand that God really does want you to have peace during the storms that he brings in judgment on the earth. That it would be impossible for anybody to have peace. Even his children could not have peace in these kind of seasons without him coming and making sure that they know that it's him doing it. And he's absolute love. He's pure love. This is why he judges like this. And we need to make sure we carry forth his assignments while it's going on and after. So these corporate signs and wonders, they give us a sharp ear in our spirit. Because we're not going to have panic attacks during this time. We're not going to have anxiety attacks and fall out on the floor. We are his leaders, we are his generals, and we are going to make sure that we do what he asks because we are his hands and feet on the earth during these times. And the people who are perishing and the people who survive, they will both need to know and listen to God's friends because there will be no one else to listen to. Not the government, not the physicians, not the doctors, no establishments, no current leaders. The wisdom will be with God's friends. And he wants as many friends as he can have. And it's his pleasure to be our friends. That's what's so beautiful about it. So keep this very, very close to you, this message. And remember that God cares about our peace. And he cares about our efficiency in his times of very, very horrifying judgment. Hail Jehovah.